top stories there. President Cyril Ramaphosa leading a South African delegation on a state visit to China, comprising ministers and premiers of the Eastern Cape and Limpopo provinces. Ramaphosa hosted President Xi Jinping on his fourth state visit to South Africa in August last year, cementing 25 years of relations. In that engagement, Ramaphosa described China as South Africa's largest trading partner globally, while South Africa is China's #1 trading partner on the African continent. Well, let's get you some analysis on the importance of this visit. Dr. Sizo Nkala is a postdoctoral research fellow with the Center for China-Africa Studies. That's at the University of Johannesburg. Great to talk to you, Dr. Nkala. Thanks very much for coming on to 405. And this visit comes quite close on the heels. Well, I suppose 2024 has gone rather quickly, but it's sort of just a year after President Xi Jinping's visit to South Africa last August. Is that quite hot on the heels, visit between visits?
Well, I think what it underlines, is the mutual strategic importance of both China and South Africa to each other. Their relationship, I think, is one of the anchors of the global South, the global South countries. So it's not surprising that they've exchanged state visits in quick succession. Mm-hmm. So. This is President Ramaphosa's second state visit to China since the first one in 2018. As you mentioned, President Xi has had 4 state visits to South Africa since he took over in 2018. So it underlines the importance with which these two countries regard each other. It also highlights the importance of head of state diplomacy, the highest level of diplomacy within these between these two countries, which promotes trust and mutual understanding.
So, Dr. Nkala, when the press release on this visit says things like, these two countries have enjoyed high-level exchanges, firm mutual support on issues concerning each other's core interests and major concerns, close cooperation on international affairs. What are some of the major points that come to mind on these points?
Well, I think economic cooperation is at the top of the agenda. Trade. South Africa, as you mentioned, is the largest trading partner for China in Africa. And also China is South Africa's largest trading partner globally. China, I think, takes about 9% of South Africa's exports, total exports. It also sends, I think, 20% of South Africa's total imports. Their bilateral trade was $692 billion in 2023. So I think that's a major issue that President Cyril Ramaphosa will focus on during his visit. Also, I think in terms of foreign direct investment, China is one of the biggest sources of foreign direct investment for South Africa, with, I think, the FDI stock from Chinese companies was it about $5.4 billion in 2020. So that's quite significant. And the Chinese companies invest in different sectors: mining, media, banking, and transport as well. So they are playing quite an important economic role. Yeah. But it's not just economic. It's also, I think, solidarity and that's diplomatic solidarity, because these are two countries that share similar worldviews when it comes to global politics, on global issues such as Russia, Ukraine, Israel-Palestine conflict, the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the reform of global institutions. They have, I think, shared similar views. They have a similar ideological outlook as to how the global order should evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, these are two BRICS nations, right? There are a number of agreements that are also set to be signed on this, what is it, a 4-day visit, a 2-day visit? But anyway, the leaders are expected to announce major projects to help in addressing particular challenges, and perhaps particular challenges for us here in South Africa, insofar as infrastructure and electricity are concerned. When you think about the kinds of projects that we need and where China can come in possibly, what comes to mind for you?
I think the delegation that President Ramaphosa took to China, it reflects what what South Africa wants from China. He is accompanied by the Minister of Agriculture, he's accompanied by the Minister of Science and Technology, higher education, small businesses, development, and then also I think the Premier of Limpopo province. So it sort of gives us a guide as to what South Africa is interested in, because South Africa in terms of agriculture has a lot to offer, and China is prepared, as it has said before, to import more agricultural products from China. And then one significant development that is occurred during this visit is the upgrading of China-South Africa relations from a comprehensive strategic partnership to an all-round strategic partnership, which is quite significant, I think, as it will see the intensification of cooperation in different areas. And the joint statement that was produced, I think it was released a few moments ago, underlines or underscores the importance of cooperation in traditional economic areas, your agriculture, your health, your mining, and also the new drivers of growth, digital economy, digital technology, science and technology. So I think it's a forward-looking statement for me, and then the two countries also expressed solidarity with South Africa, supporting the One China principle, and also China expressing support of South Africa's government of national unity. So it's a forward-looking, I think, statement that explores new areas of cooperation and also reiterate the solidarity that has characterized this relationship since, I think, mid-20th century.
Yeah, certainly. And it's very interesting to note as well, Dr. Nkala, it's Tourism Month here in South Africa. September, we sort of look forward to especially working on our numbers post-COVID-19. But it's very interesting that South Africa is the most popular destination for Chinese tourists.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think South Africa has to take advantage of that. The positive perception that Chinese tourism market has of South Africa. I think this is aided I think by South Africa's I think being home to about 350,000 Chinese, people of Chinese descent who live in South Africa. Some were born here and are South African citizens. They act as the bridge between China and South Africa in terms of mutual understanding at a people-to-people level. And then on that as well, South Africa, I think, hosts about 6 Confucius Institute, Chinese Confucius Institute. These, I think, are important instruments of promoting cultural mutual understanding between the two countries. So the tourism market, I think, took a hit during the COVID-19, is still recovering. I'm sure the delegation that is in China will promote South Africa's tourism and to the Chinese audience.
Dr. Sizo Nkala, let me thank you for your time this afternoon, giving us a whole range of things to think about as South Africa arrives in China for a state visit. And of course, the last time that the Chinese counterpart to President Cyril Ramaphosa, President Xi Jinping, was on his 4th state visit to South Africa was last August. Dr. Nkala is a postdoctoral research fellow at the Center for China-Africa Studies.